Welcome to Speak Peak English. Today we'll practice English with the story, The Great Yard Sale Surprise. This lesson introduces vocabulary related to shopping, old items, and fun conversations with neighbors. It's a great way to improve your listening and speaking skills while learning practical words and phrases. Let's get started. Listen carefully. The Great Yard Sale Surprise. Mark woke up early on Saturday morning, determined to clean out his garage. He had boxes of old books, toys, clothes, and even a lava lamp from the 90s. "I don't need this stuff," he said. "Time for a yard sale." By 9 a.m., his front yard looked like a mini thrift store. He set up tables, put up signs, and waited. A woman walked up holding a feathered pink hat. "How much for this hat?" Mark blinked. $1? She grinned. "Sold! I'm going to wear it to my book club." Then came Mr. Patel from across the street. He picked up a rubber chicken and squawked it loudly. "Did this belong to your comedy career?" he joked. Mark laughed. "Nope. My cousin gave it to me as a serious birthday gift." Next, a little girl pointed at an old Walkman. "What's this?" Her dad chuckled. "That's how people listened to music in the olden days." The girl stared at it like it was from a museum. "Did it also make phone calls?" Everyone laughed. Just then, Mark's neighbor Jenna arrived. She picked up a dusty box and gasped. "These are my childhood books. I donated them years ago." Mark raised an eyebrow. "Well, I bought this box at a flea market last year." They both laughed at the coincidence. "I'll take them back," Jenna said. "Full circle moment." By noon, Mark had sold half his stuff. But there was one item left, a broken karaoke machine. "No one wants to buy this," he sighed. Just then, two teenage boys walked by. One of them shouted, "Is that thing for sale?" Mark nodded. "It doesn't really work." "We'll take it anyway," the boy said. "We're starting a band. We'll call it Kara No Key." Mark burst out laughing. "That's the worst band name I've ever heard." "Exactly," the boy replied. "We'll be famous." By the end of the day, Mark had made $67 and gained a dozen funny memories. He looked around at his empty tables and smiled. One man's junk is truly another man's comedy gold. After listening to The Great Yard Sale Surprise, you probably noticed how something simple like a yard sale can lead to laughter, connections, and unexpected moments. Have you ever sold or bought something funny before? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Now, let's explore key vocabulary from the story to boost your English skills. It's time for word exploration. 1. Yard sale definition. A sale of used items from someone's home, usually held in their front yard. Example from the story. "I don't need this stuff," he said. "Time for a yard sale." Example from real life. "We found a great old chair at a yard sale last weekend." 2. Thrift store definition. A store that sells secondhand goods, often for charity. Example from the story. His front yard looked like a mini thrift store. Example from real life. "I buy vintage clothes at the local thrift store." 3. Feathered definition. Decorated with feathers. Example from the story. A woman walked up holding a feathered pink hat. Example from real life. She wore a feathered costume for the parade. 4. Donate definition. To give something away for free, often to help others. Example from the story. "These are my childhood books. I donated them years ago." Example from real life. "We donated our old clothes to a local charity last weekend." 5th band definition. A group of people who play music together. Example from the story. "We're starting a band." Example from real life. "My cousin plays guitar in a rock band." Now it's time for the final round. Let's practice listening and speaking with a repeat after me session. Ready? Let's go. The Great Yard Sale Surprise. Mark woke up early on Saturday morning, determined to clean out his garage. He had boxes of old books, toys, clothes, and even a lava lamp from the 90s. I don't need this stuff, he said. Time for a yard sale. By 9 a.m., his front yard looked like a mini thrift store. He set up tables, put up signs, and waited. A woman walked up holding a feathered pink hat. How much for this hat? Mark blinked. $1? She grinned. Sold! I'm going to wear it to my book club. Then came Mr. Patel from across the street. He picked up a rubber chicken and squawked it loudly. Did this belong to your comedy career? He joked. Mark laughed. Nope. My cousin gave it to me as a serious birthday gift. Next, a little girl pointed at an old Walkman. What's this? Her dad chuckled. That's how people listened to music in the olden days. The girl stared at it like it was from a museum. Did it also make phone calls? Everyone laughed. Just then, Mark's neighbor Jenna arrived. She picked up a dusty box and gasped. These are my childhood books. I donated them years ago. Mark raised an eyebrow. Well, I bought this box at a flea market last year. They both laughed at the coincidence. I'll take them back, Jenna said. Full circle moment. By noon, Mark had sold half his stuff. But there was one item left, a broken karaoke machine. No one wants to buy this, he sighed. Just then, two teenage boys walked by. One of them shouted, Is that thing for sale? Mark nodded. It doesn't really work. We'll take it anyway, the boy said. We're starting a band. We'll call it Kara no Key. Mark burst out laughing. That's the worst band name I've ever heard. Exactly, the boy replied. We'll be famous. By the end of the day, Mark had made $67 and gained a dozen funny memories. He looked around at his empty tables and smiled. One man's junk is truly another man's comedy gold. That's it for today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed learning with the story, The Great Yard Sale Surprise. If you liked this session, don't forget to like and subscribe for more fun, real-life English lessons. Remember, practice makes progress. See you next time, and happy learning.